students, in the previous videos you have already learnt about the TS of testes and the events that takes place inside the seminiferous tubule. We start with spermatogenesis, that is the process by which sperms are formed in the body of a male. I have a diagram which shows the spermatogenesis. The spermatogenesis takes place in 3 phases. The first phase is called as multiplication phase, right? And the multiplication phase starts inside the testes, and inside the testes there are seminiferous tubules, and inside the seminiferous tubules there is a lining of primordial germ cell which we call as germinal epithelium, or they are cuboidal cells which are diploid having 2 sets of chromosomes. These primordial germ cells undergo mitosis, that is mitotic division, to form large number of spermatogonia, and all the spermatogonia are diploid, that is they have 46 number of chromosomes. So let us try to understand. These are the primordial cells of the seminiferous tubule, right? They undergo mitosis. These cells again undergo mitosis, and regularly after undergoing mitosis, a large number of spermatogonia or diploid spermatogonia cells are formed, right? So all these spermatogonia are having diploid number of chromosomes, that is they have n plus n, that is 23 plus 23, that is 46 chromosomes. Now let us talk about the second phase of spermatogenesis, that is the growth phase. And in this growth phase the spermatogonia stops dividing, right? The mitosis stops here, right? And this spermatogonia, right, now it grows in size. You can see the cell has become larger in size. So the spermatogonia here has increased in size and it has developed into a primary spermatocyte. And primary spermatocyte also has diploid number of chromosomes, that is 46 chromosomes, and these the growth of the cell or the enlargement of the cell is due to large accumulation of food, or large amount of food gets accumulated into it. Third phase of spermatogenesis is maturation phase. We have already learnt that how the spermatocytes are formed, or the primary spermatocytes are formed, right? Maturation phase starts from the time the primary spermatocytes are formed. These primary spermatocytes undergo first meiosis or first reduction division, or it undergoes meiosis 1 or reduction division 1 to form 2 haploid cells, that is 2 cells having 23 number of chromosomes each, right? And these 2 haploid cells are called as secondary spermatocyte. So this is a primary spermatocyte. It undergoes first meiosis, that is first reduction division, to form 2 haploid cells each having 23 chromosomes, and they are now called as secondary spermatocytes. The secondary spermatocyte undergo meiosis 2, right? Remember, meiosis does not get completed unless the both phases are complete. So secondary spermatocytes undergoes meiosis 2, and we get 4 haploid cells, and those 4 haploid cells are called as spermatids, right? So if you can see here, secondary spermatocytes, they are undergoing meiosis 2, and these 2 secondary spermatocytes give rise to 1, 2, 3 and 4 spermatids. Now these spermatids are haploid. They have 23 number of chromosomes, but they are non-motile or they are non-functional, right? They cannot move and they cannot function as a male gametophyte, right? So what happens? Slowly these spermatids get converted into functional spermatozoa. So slowly and gradually the spermatids get converted into the spermatozoas, right? And these spermatozoas are functional, right? We also know them by the name sperms. Spermatids remain attached to each other and the Sertoli cells. So all these spermatids or all these spermatid cells, when they are formed, they remain attached to each other, and they also get themselves attached to the nurse cells inside the seminiferous tubule, and that is the Sertoli cells, right? And the attachment or the connection between them which keeps them together are the cytoplasmic bridges. The heads of the sperm, that is, this is the head region of the sperm, will attach to the nurse cells, Sertoli cells, whereas their tails hang in the lumen of or in the cavity of the seminiferous tubule. The length of the sperms or spermatozoa slowly increase in size. The centrioles are arranged as primary and distal. Now there are two centrioles. They get arranged, the primary towards the head region, the second centriole gets, that is a distal centriole, gets attached to the tail, towards the tail region. And remember, the contribution of centrioles to the zygote is from the father's side, that is, only sperms have centrioles. That means eggs do not have centrioles. So the donation of centrioles is by the sperms. Now let me talk about other part of these spermatids. The Golgi complex in the cell of a spermatid forms the acrosome part of the sperm, whereas the mitochondria of that cell gets spirally coiled, right, which will give energy to the sperms to swim. Let's talk about the structure of sperms, right, or the male gametes, also known as spermatozoa. Let's see the diagram first. This is the structure of the sperm, and the sperm is divided into actually three parts, but if you look into it closely, it is four parts. That is the head region, the neck region, the middle piece, and the tail region. You can see that the head region has a cap-like structure called as acrosome. It has a haploid nucleus, a single haploid nucleus. It shows, or the neck region shows the presence of proximal and distal centrioles. The mitochondria are present in the middle piece, whereas the tail region has a axial filament into it. Let us try to understand the structure. The sperm is a male gamete. It is non-motile. The sperm is a male gamete. It is motile. It can move, right? It can go from one place to the other, right? It is microscopic and it is elongated structure. The head is oval in shape. If you can see the head region, it is like an egg, right? Like the shape of an egg, and the shape of an egg is oval. It is having an haploid nucleus, a single haploid nucleus. It shows the cap-like structure called as acrosomes, right? You can see a cap-like structure, and that is called as acrosome. This acrosome is formed from the Golgi bodies, correct? When the cell or when the spermatocyte or when the sperm was in spermatid condition, there was a Golgi complex, and this Golgi complex got converted into acrosome, right? This acrosome contains hydrolytic enzymes, that is enzymes which can break through the membranes, right? And those hydrolytic enzymes are zona lysins and corona penetrating enzyme. If you talk about an egg cell, it is having two layers, that is zona pellucida, and outermost layer is corona radiata. A sperm will have to drill a hole into both these layers to help itself to put its nucleus inside the egg cell, right? The neck region is short region and it has two centrioles, the proximal centriole and the distal centriole, right? And centrioles are an important organelle, because without centriole present inside the cell will not divide. The egg or the ovum does not have centriole. So the father's contribution to the baby's formation is not only the contribution of nucleus, but the contribution of these centrioles also. So the centrioles are contributed to the zygote by the father, in the form of sperms, or the sperms are carrying the centrioles. Then middle piece, it has an axial filament, right? You can see the middle piece, it is having an axial filament surrounded by 10 to 14 turns of mitochondria. So if that is an axial filament, the mitochondria gets coiled around it, and if you count the number of turns, they are 10 to 14 turns of mitochondria, right? It provides energy necessary for the movement of sperms. So the sperms will have to swim all the way from the vagina to the oviduct, and that movement will require energy, and that energy is provided by the mitochondria. Let's talk about the tail part of the sperm or spermatozoa. The tail is long, it is slender, it becomes thinner and thinner as it becomes longer. It is tapering, right, broad at the apex, and it becomes narrower at the end. It contains cytoplasm. The tail region has cytoplasm, and it contains a fine thread-like fiber which is called as the axial filament, right? The axial filament arises from the distal centriole. So the birth-giving structure of axial filament is distal centriole. The distal centriole gives rise to the axial filament, and it moves throughout the length of the tail. It is present from the distal centriole to the end piece. Now the tail can be divided into two parts. Partially, or to some extent, the tail is covered by plasma membrane. Till the time the tail is covered with plasma membrane, the tail is called as principal piece, whereas the part of the tail which is not surrounded by plasma membrane, that particular region is called as the end piece. Students, let's start with oogenesis, and that is the process by which an egg or an ovum or a oocyte is formed in the ovaries of a female. So if you look at the diagram on the left side of your board, right, you could see the process of oogenesis. It begins with primary germinal cell. It undergoes mitosis, right? Again you can see it undergoing mitosis. So first mitosis, 2 cells, second mitosis, the 2 cells gives rise to 4 cells, and this mitosis goes on continuously, right? At certain step, that is the step of the growth phase, the multiplication stops and the oogonia grows in size, right? It grows in size, the number of cell organelles increase, and that after that the first the maturation phase starts, and in the maturation phase the primary oocyte undergoes meiosis, and thus at the end you can see a single ovum formed, whereas you get the formation of 3 polar bodies. So that's 1, 2 and 3 polar bodies. That means oogenesis takes place in 3 steps. Let us see what those steps are in details. The first step is multiplication phase, and in the multiplication phase the primary germinal cell, right, that is the innermost lining of the ovary, has germinal epithelium. The germinal epithelium, every cell is called as primary germinal cell. It undergoes mitosis, a rapid cell division goes on, and you get formation of millions of gamete mother cells, and those gamete mother cells are called as oogonial cells. So rapid multiplication and you get the formation of oogonial cells. This happens when the girl or the baby girl is inside the womb of her mother. So this multiplication phase gets completed inside the ovary of a girl when she is still in her mother's womb. The second phase is growth phase, and in this phase some oogonias, that is some of the oogonias will grow in size. They will grow in size, the cellular organelles inside them will increase in number. The organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus and mitochondria will rapidly increase their number inside this growing cell, and this grown up cell is now called as a primary oocyte. So what is the cell after the growth phase gets completed? It is called as a primary oocyte, and primary oocyte is diploid in structure, or it is having 2 sets of chromosomes. Students, let's talk about the maturation phase, that is the third and the last phase in oogenesis. Maturation phase starts with primary oocytes. Remember, at the end of the growth phase a primary oocyte was formed, and from here onwards the maturation phase starts. So the primary oocyte, which is diploid, undergoes first meiosis, that is first meiotic or reduction division, where 2 unequal cells are formed. From a single cell, 2 unequal cells are formed, and the inequality of the cell, one is big, one is small. The large cell has more cytoplasm, where the smaller cell has less cytoplasm, and that is why the cells look unequal, right? The larger one is called as secondary oocyte, whereas the smaller one is called as the first polar body, right? Then this secondary oocyte and this polar body will undergo second phase of meiosis, that is meiosis 2, right? And the meiosis 2 begins, but when the meiosis enters into metaphase 2, the meiosis stops, right? And the egg is given out from the Graafian follicle. The meiosis 2 is not yet completed. It is arrested at metaphase 2, and in such condition where the meiosis is incomplete, the egg is the Graafian follicle ruptures, and the egg or ovum, which is still in metaphase 2, is released inside the oviduct or inside the abdominal cavity. Now meiosis gets completed, or meiosis 2 will get completed only if the ovum encounters a sperm. If the ovum meets the sperms, then the process of fertilization and completion of meiosis 2 takes place together, right? At one time the meiosis 2 is getting completed in secondary oocyte, whereas the other way there is also fertilization taking place, because the secondary oocyte is meeting a sperm. So at the end of the second meiosis, you get the formation of a single ovum, right? A single egg cell, whereas this division of secondary oocyte is again unequal. A big cell and a small cell. The bigger one is called as a single ovum, whereas the smaller one is called as the polar body. And the first polar body will also undergo meiosis 2, where you get 2 polar bodies formed. So the total number of cells formed at the end of oogenesis is 1 single ovum or 1 single egg cell, whereas 3 polar bodies are formed. Students, let's talk about the secondary oocyte and the structure of secondary oocyte. If you look at the oocyte or the secondary oocyte, this membrane, the inner membrane, is called as the membrane of the egg, or it is called as egg cell or egg membrane. It is also known as vitelline membrane, right? So the outermost membrane of the egg cell is called as vitelline membrane. Outside the vitelline membrane, there is one more membrane, and in between these two membranes there is a cavity or a space, and this is called as perivitelline space. In this perivitelline space, the product of first meiosis, that the first polar body, lies. Inside the egg or secondary oocyte, you find a nucleus. This nucleus is called as germinal vesicle, right? So the secondary oocyte shows polarity, that is the side to which the germinal vesicle and polar body is present, it is called as an animal pole, whereas the opposite side, that is this side, is called as vegetal pole, right? Outside this particular perivitelline space, there is an a cellular structure, right? A cellular structure which is called as zona pellucida. Outside zona pellucida, you have a cellular layer which is called as corona radiata, right? So let us find out in details how the structure of secondary oocyte looks like. The structure of secondary oocyte, the ovary releases the secondary oocyte, right? It is arrested in metaphase 2, so that meiosis 2 and metaphase 2 stage, the secondary oocyte is released and it is unfertilized egg. This unfertilized egg is non-cladoid, that is, it does not have a shell. Normally eggs have a shell, but human egg do not have a shell. It is microlithial, that is, very less amount of yolk is present inside the egg. The size is about 0.1 millimeter. If you convert it into microns, it measures up to 100 microns. Every secondary oocyte is rounded, haploid, and it is a non-motile cell, right? A pronucleus or a typical nucleus develops after or at the time of fertilization. Complete meiosis 2 takes place and then fertilization takes place, or meiosis 2 and fertilization take place together, and then we have a pronucleus or a typical nucleus. The nucleus is large and it is called as germinal vesicle. As I told you, the large nucleus called as germinal vesicle. The cytoplasm is called as ooplasm. So surrounding the germinal vesicle, there is large amount of cytoplasm, and the cell or the egg cytoplasm is called as ooplasm. No centrioles. Remember, I told you before also that the eggs do not have centrioles. Now they are covered with various coverings. The egg, right? The secondary oocyte is covered with various covering. The first covering is the vitelline membrane, which is the cell membrane of the egg. This vitelline membrane secretes a cellular glycoproteinaceous membrane, and that membrane is called as zona pellucida. So what is the work of vitelline membrane? It produces or it secretes an acellular layer, which the layer is made up of glycoproteinaceous, or the layer is glycoproteinaceous, and this layer is called as zona pellucida. Then outside the zona pellucida, you find radially arranged cells. So outside zona pellucida, you find the radially arranged cells, and these radially arranged cells are called as the corona radiata, and this corona radiata is produced, or it is this corona radiata cells are produced by the innermost follicular cell. Remember, this structure is inside the Graafian follicle, and surrounding this structure are the layers of follicular cells. So those follicular cells will produce this cellular layer, that is the layer called as corona radiata. Let's talk about fertilization, or it is also called as syngamy, right? Sexual reproduction in humans is begins with the formation of gametes, and it ends at the fusion of gametes forming a diploid zygote. The gametes are haploid. When they fuse with each other, they form a diploid zygote. Unlike other animals, the fertilization in human being is inside the ampulla of the fallopian tube or uterine tube. So the fertilization takes place inside the ampulla of the fallopian tube or uterine tube. So fertilization is internal, and it results into the formation of a diploid zygote, the first cell of the new life. Children, this particular diagram was asked in the exams, in the March 2020 exams. So you need to look at it very carefully. If you look at the diagrams, you will understand what happens during the process of fertilization. You have already learned that this is a secondary oocyte, right? And a secondary oocyte, during the process of fertilization, it gets surrounded by the sperms. One of the sperms becomes fortunate enough or is fortunate enough to penetrate the corona radiata, the zona pellucida, the perivitelline space, and it also drills a hole in vitelline membrane and is able to put its nucleus and its centriole inside that secondary oocyte. With the entry of the male nucleus and the centrioles, the meiosis inside that particular cell starts getting completed. Remember, the egg or the nucleus was arrested in metaphase 2. As soon as the male enters or the male nucleus enters the secondary oocyte, this meiosis 2 gets completed. At the same time, the centriole and the male nucleus makes an entry into the secondary oocyte. As you go ahead, you can see that the male and the female pronucleus, correct? The male and female nucleus swell or they become large in size, and now they are called as male pronucleus and female pronucleus. Here the second meiosis also takes place in the polar nuclei, forming two polar nuclei at the end of meiosis 2. So you can see a male pronucleus and a female pronucleus, and you can see two polar bodies, right? With that, the male pronucleus and the female pronucleus, if you see, there is a spindle formation, mitotic spindle formation takes place in between these two nucleuses. Then the last one is that you can see the fusion of the two nucleuses, right, result in the formation of a diploid nucleus, a nucleus having two sets of chromosomes, and this particular cell is now called as zygote, or it is the first cell of the new life. Let us study in details. See what happens first. The sperm penetrates the secondary oocyte, right? As soon as the sperm penetrates, the oocyte completes meiosis 2, and it is forming an ovum and a secondary polar nuclei or a second polar nuclei. Then stage 2, the sperms and ovum nuclei swell, become large in size, and now they are called as pronuclei. A male nuclei is called as male pronuclei, whereas a female nuclei is called as a female pronuclei. The pronucleus at step 3 or stage 3, the pronuclei approach each other, they come closer to each other, and mitotic spindle is formed in between the two nuclei, that is the male pronuclei and the female pronuclei. At the end, at step 4, the chromosomes of two pronuclei intermix, right? The fusion takes place, intermixing takes place, and this is what we call as fertilization. That we can say that the fertilization is complete. So the end product of fertilization is zygote, and this was fertilization and syngamy. Syngamy itself means fusion of two gametes. Syn means fusion and gamy means fusion of two gametes.